All right, this is Kev, and this is Roger, and this is the Black Dimension with our review of Zombieland Double Tap. All right. All right, let's get this discussion on the way. I'm Kev and Roger. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, folks. This is Roger. Um, Ready to get things going. Kev,
All
I'm, I'm gonna
right.
take, I'm gonna take this moment to your rating system. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Oh, so you want to talk about our rating system or the
Yeah.
rating of this
I'm
movie right here?
I'm what we're gonna do. So, folks who are listening to this, we have a rating system. We have either buy it, bootleg it, or it's a bomb. Buy it. It's for those movies of quality where we feel like you might as well go to the theater and see it. You'll enjoy yourself. Bootleg it would mean, and especially for you older cats, y'all know what a bootleg is. So either it's cool to watch. It's not really a high priority to go watch. Some of y'all got fire sticks, you might do that. We ain't gonna tell you to steal nothing though. We ain't gonna say that. We're just using the bootleg as a term. We ain't telling you to steal nothing. Or it's a bomb, which means we wouldn't even waste our time. We would movie. We basically watch this movie so you don't have to.
All right. I will say out of what he just explained by bootleg or bomb, I will go ahead and say this one right here is a buy.
I actually agree
Oh,
with that one. It's definitely a buy.
yes, because if you love your comedy movie sprinkled in with zombies, you're gonna love Zombieland 2. The movie starring these four people right here: Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and I think her name is Abigail Breslin as Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock. All right, we start out with a little narration. We start out with Columbus narrating. Okay. For anybody who's watching, before we get underway, spoiler warning. Spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen the film yet, I do not recommend that you watch this review that we're about to do. But
Unless you want to watch it.
okay, we got your bargain a bit, Roger. Okay, let's see. All right, so like I said, the movie starts out with Columbus narrating about how they have adjusted to the dystopic zombie apocalypse, basically by describing the different kinds of zombies. Okay, now I think he said there was a Homer, which was the dumb zombie, basically just that you don't even really have to bother with them. Then he said it was another kind of zombie that got a little smarter. Like they showed this scene where this I guess this scientist had locked himself in a room and he had to use the optical recognition software, like just an eyeball, and the zombie bit the guy's eyeball out and used it to get in the door to the guy. So he was just explaining that some of the zombies had evolved. But then you start with let me go back to one of these images right here. Let's see what image. Oh yeah, this is if you look at the screen, this is the first scene. Basically, siege of the White House. uh, can you kind of explain that scene, Roger, from what you remember?
Well, in this scene, they're in a world where it's zombies, and they decide you're gonna have a home, might as well be a good home, better home house of the United States. So it made absolute sense to me. And the scene out actually gave maybe allowed you to recognize how great they were at killing zombies. Because they kind of use
Yeah,
certain little systems when they go against zombies, which made sense for why they had stayed alive for so long. Because as they narrated the movie, they basically let you know he's been alive instead of, and they displayed how great they are at taking out zombies, which they were pretty good. Yeah. And I thought it made all the sense in the world because if I was in that type of situation, I probably would go to the White House myself. If I got to kick it somewhere, why not the White House?
yeah. Yeah, plus, this scene is really deuce. It reintroduces the gang. You know, this movie right here. They have the exact same people, the exact same four that was in the first Zombieland. If people hadn't noticed, this is a reintroducing. This is a reintroduction to the gang of Columbus, Tallahassee, Little Rock, and Wichita. And basically showing you that hey, you know what, we're still here kicking and we're kicking ass. So they siege the White House. So what happened after they got in the White House? You have Tallahassee working on his vehicle called the Beast that has a Gatling gun up top. And Wichita, just going through her little frustrations. She's not a little girl anymore. She wants to get out in the world. Maybe someday having a boyfriend or somewhat. And and in the meantime, Columbus and Wichita, I think, are in Lincoln's bedroom. If I'm not mistaken, they were in
Yeah,
Lincoln's bedroom.
the Lincoln bedroom.
Yes. Yes, he pulled out a ring. What ring was it? It was somebody's ring. I forgot
That was
who ring
that
it
was
was. It was
the Hope Diamond.
the
I
Hope
believe
Diamond.
it was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. He pulled out the Hope Diamond and asked Wichita to marry him. And she has the little usual people marriage jitters. She made a statement that when people get married, what happens to married people, it usually ends in divorce. So the next morning, Columbus and Tallahassee wakes up to discover that Wichita and Little Rock is gone. They took the beast with them, which is very is a callback to the first film because notice when Tallahassee and Columbus first met Wichita and Little Rock, they kept getting them. They kept getting them. I don't care what. I don't care how many times they say they like. They kept getting them. They kept getting them, and they drove off. So, so a month passed by. So a month passes by. They're in a mall. They're in a mall, and then they
Hold one sec. Hold one sec. Let me. For those who don't remember or need a reminder, Columbus was the character played by Jesse Eisenberg. Uh, Woody Harrelson played Tallahassee. Emma.
Emma Stone, she played Wichita, and Abigail Breslin played Little Rock.
Okay. Now,
Okay, so from left to right of this image, Columbus, Tallahassee, Little Rock, and Wichita. One thing that this movie did do, they stuck to giving all the characters names of cities and states in the United States of America, as you will see as review goes further. So anyway, as they were in the mall, they run into Madison, played by Zoe. I think her name is Zoe Douche, something like that.
yeah, I never checked her
And,
name. She did a right job in the movie, but it wasn't a whole lot that she could do with that character. I'll just say that.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was basically just comic relief, and basically the first young female that Columbus had ever met. And you could pretty much tell within like a few hours because they actually had sex. Like she actually said that she hadn't had it in so long, and if he didn't give in, she was gonna cave in and go get the old man. The old man being Tallahassee. So they have sex. Next thing you know, it was it Tallahassee that heard some noises coming from that room, or it wasn't Columbus.
Both of them heard noises. Both of them did.
Oh, oh yeah, both of them heard noises, and they walk in, and there's Wichita. Wichita, saying she come back and look for supplies, but she basically said that Little Rock is gone. Took off, left a note, went with some guy she met, and that's where we come. Yeah, that's where we come to Berkeley. Berkeley is what do you call it? Is like he was a hippie.
An absolute hippie.
Yeah, hippie, pacifist, and a musician. And basically, upon hearing this news, it sends Tallahassee through the roof.
Because Tallahassee now views her as a daughter. So obviously, the relationships between these four has gotten a lot tighter over the years. So it was actually like a family at this point. It weren't just strangers that happened to be on the same quest. They basically had became a family at this point, which I thought was a very nice touch. It made all the sense in the world if this had been going on for so many years.
Yeah, and then when Columbus and Wichita gets to talking, and they talk about, hey, you know what, maybe it's time, they started to do a little reconnect. Here comes Madison.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, she was definitely a stereotypical dumb blonde, but when you invested your heart into one woman and you don't, and they still haven't been around any other people, then all of a sudden a chick shows up. It only makes sense he's gonna do something with her.
yeah,
Because she did leave him, and all she did was leave a note, so it was kind of crushing to him.
yeah. Yeah, it was sudden because, like, as I remember in the first film, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, Columbus was kind of whack. And you saw the way Columbus, you saw that whackness in the way he kept getting duped in the first film. He didn't get duped quite as much in this film. In fact, I felt like Columbus came out kind of good, seeing that the next hot babe you run into, you end up having all this sex with.
Well, he basically, at this point, I would say there was definitely some growth, and he basically kind of really came to his manhood at this point.
Yeah. So all of them get inside. Is this when they got the minivan?
Yes, the minivan that Tallahassee did not want to drive. He was
the
minivans.
Because it was just that it was that they were going to Graceland because they thought that that's where, well, they were following the path of Berkeley and Little Rock while they were driving the Beast. So they went to Graceland, and Graceland is completely destroyed. I mean, it's completely run down. It's over with. Tallahassee's heartbroken. So what they went to a hotel that was kept up. It wasn't that with the Hound Dog Hotel or something like that. And whatever it was called, it had a bunch of Elvis memorabilia in it, and that's where they meet Nevada. Nevada, yeah, Nevada, played by Rosario Dawson,
who is quite fine, I must say.
Yes, the beautiful and talented Rosario Dawson,
who is quite fine.
Yeah, and and Nevada end up being Tallahassee's love interest. Then they discovered that through both of their love of Elvis. So that was kind of an interesting little thing. And then hold on one second, Roger. Any thoughts on that while I try to get reset up? Miss. There it is. Hold on one second. Get this back together. All right. Let's see. Roger, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Isaiah, well, any thoughts on the Nevada situation?
Uh,
Besides, what you said, you.
with Nevada was a very interesting situation because it played the dynamic of someone for Tallahassee to actually be with, and 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 Little Rock had ran off because she felt she wanted to find someone that she could be with. Tallahassee was a father figure by that point, so there was no connection between them two at all on a love interest level, even though there was the only other male and female around. So it was definitely more of a family dynamic. And Nevada was a very interesting character. I think people would like her. There's really no reason not to like her. But her love interest that ended up showing up, there was more Tallahassee.
Oh yeah. Her other love interest. Um, and this is where Albuquerque and Flagstaff shows up. Albuquerque played by Luke Wilson and Flagstaff played by Thomas Middleditch. If you can recognize Thomas Middleditch, he's from the HBO television show Silicon Valley. I happen to so enjoy that show myself. But the purpose of Albuquerque and Flagstaff, they were exact archetypes, like almost carbon copies of Tallahassee and Columbus. I mean, even like down to like they had like how Columbus kept throwing out rules throughout the movie. Flagstaff had his commandments, but as it turns out, you'll see in rules versus commandments within a few minutes of that which one works out better. So let's move on to what happens to Albuquerque and Flagstaff. Okay. Albuquerque and Flagstaff pulls up the monster truck called Big Fat Death and runs over the beast. I don't know why they're running over the beast. I don't know why they want to get rid of the beast, because the beast looked like it could just fight zombies all day. So although one thing about the beast, although it was a pretty badass ride, you never saw its use come to fruition throughout the entire film. Which was too bad, but I felt like that was kind of a little inside joke right there anyway. Mm-hmm. It's like you got a car with a Gatling gun on top. You love to see it shoot up some zombies. but spoiler for everybody, it did not happen. Sorry about that. You won't see the Gatling gun in action.
Yeah, not one. Well, they technically used the Gatling gun, but it didn't. Not one zombie.
Not one zombie. So also, okay. I don't think we mentioned this yet. They had a newly evolved zombie called a T-800. Well, they nicknamed it a T-800. The T-800 basically was a zombie that was harder to kill. You had to not only double tap, you had to quadruple tap, sextuple tap, like ocho tap, whatever. They were just much harder to kill. They were tougher, they were faster, and they were stronger. Albuquerque and Flagstaff, I guess, had just come from a place where there were some T-800s, and it looked like 3 or 4 of them followed them. So Albuquerque and Flagstaff, trying to show off for everybody, goes out there by themselves to take care of the T-800s. So they ended up killing the T-800s, but unfortunately, as you discover in this movie, you don't really need 2 Tallahassees and 2 Columbuses. I mean, what the hell? If you want to keep if you want to keep Albuquerque and Flagstaff around, you might as well go ahead and kill Tallahassee and Columbus. But Columbus, like, okay, he's not following one of my biggest rules. Don't ever be afraid to ask for help. And they didn't ask for help. They decided, like, I guess, pull their pants up and started to say, hey, you know what? We're going to go out here and kill these zombies, blah, blah, blah. And then they went out there and killed them. But when, they came back, they discovered a bite on Albuquerque's forearm.
Mm-hmm.
And they, yeah, nice little gash, too. And he was like, oh, man, don't worry about it. And then he was like, and then Flagstaff said something to him, and then he turned around, well, you were bitten twice. And then started the gross process of zombie. Here's what indicates you're about to turn into a zombie. You start violent vomiting. They start vomiting real violently. which happened to Madison earlier. And they was gonna, you thought Columbus took Madison out in the middle of the woods and shot her, but you discovered later on that didn't, because Madison was still alive driving a clown truck and had actually caught up with the rest of the guys. And it was like, cool. It was great she didn't kill her. She wasn't turning into a zombie. But unfortunately for Albuquerque and Flagstaff, this was not the case, as they turned into T-800s. Not only they turned to zombies, they turned into T-800 zombies. Like immediately. You're Borging bad, man. You're Borging real bad.
Okay. Now, I was saying it would make sense that they would be T-800s because they had spent so many years killing zombies. So it only makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good touch. Because the two main characters basically Are you hear me?
I didn't hear hey Roger. I didn't hear any of that. You bored that whole time.
Wow.
You bored. Yeah, but go ahead and say it again, man.
Well, I was just saying it was a good dynamic because it was basically like the two main characters facing the two other main characters from male perspectives. So they were fighting their mirror images. It was a nice little touch in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it made for comedy because it was like this. Tallahassee and Albuquerque didn't like each other, while Columbus basically thought he had met a brother in Flagstaff. In fact, he mentioned it several times. He called like how cool he thought Flagstaff was. And I would expect that from somebody like Columbus. But anyway, he leaves what's his name behind Nevada, and he tries to pull off in Big Fat Death. Let me see. I think I got a picture of Big Fat Death. I thought I had a picture of Big Fat Death, but yeah. But I guess I didn't put it in the folder. But anyway, he tried to drive off with Big Fat Death. End up not going anywhere with it, and ends up getting back in the minivan, and from there they go to Babylon. Little Rock and Berkeley are already at Babylon. Babylon is this place it's been like it's surrounded by trailers, like what they call them. They call the containers they put on the bars. Like they are surrounded, like it's totally it's like Fortress Inn. And what they do is every time they come in, they say they can't get in with their weapons. What they do, they melt down their guns and ammo and all that stuff and make them into those little peace symbol pendants. They just live
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy to be in a world like that without weapons. But they were fortified pretty good. But they were fortified pretty good. They were just like flower children. It was like a community of hippies. And that's where
ridiculous. That was it. Yeah, in a world full of zombies, it makes no sense that when someone comes to where you are, you get rid of their weapons. But that was a unique part to the film. That these folks were truly disconnected.
Yeah, they were disconnected, and their ideal world was a world without weapons. And we have those movements already we have those movements already where they want a world with peace and without weapons. And that's people in situations like that get crazy ideas. So okay, the gang gets there. The gang as in Columbus, Madison, Wichita, and Tallahassee. They get there and they have to give up their weapons and they have to melt it down. And this would have been otherwise a really bad idea by Tallahassee, but Tallahassee just wants to see if Little Rock is all right that bad, and he did. So more comedy ensues. He meets Berkeley. He almost jumps Berkeley, but anyway, so since okay, here's how it went. Since Tallahassee saw that Little Rock was safe, Tallahassee decides that it's time for him to go ahead and separate and leave them, and be on his way. So he leaves, and then when he goes down the road, he runs into like a swamp, like a swarm of T-800s. And he said, "Oh, that's enough for me." And then he turns back around and then immediately devises a plan to get rid of the T-800s. Now, before we get into all that, they had a couple of little scenes in the movie called Zombie Kill of the Year.
Which was some great scenes.
Yes, like the first Zombie Kill of the Year was the guy like we put it, running over the zombie with a hay baler, just made a zombie bale of hay, which was cool. But the one that came on in later in the year was even better. A guy actually puts a jack under the Leaning Tower of Pisa to flatten 3 zombies already eating. I mean, they were cool. Yeah, they were really cool visuals. I'll say that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that they were going for the Zombie Kill of the Year, the climactic scene, which we're about to tell you about. Basically, when the T-800 started running up, basically they led them to this part where they had these hoses and this big gas tank set up. So what they did was they set it up, poke holes in the little holes where the gas was leaking out, and they lit it up, and it didn't light up at first. But then when the T-800 started piling up, it all of a sudden blew up. But it didn't kill all the T-800s. So they got in that little booth in this picture that you see behind you, like behind Columbus. They got in there, started fighting them off, and then the next thing you know, here comes Nevada with Big Fat Death. Which was a really cool zombie kill scene. Like she was just running over zombies with them big monster truck tires and rescued the gang pictured here. And in a scene that looked like the zombie run scene next. Oh yeah, because they were trying they flipped Big Red, like they flipped Big Fat Death over. Then they ran to like where they were supposed to run to, but the zombies kept coming. And then they started throwing appliances off the top of the tower. Now, let me tell you this. I don't know how their aim was so good throwing those appliances from all the way from the top of that tower. But I guess the reason why their aim was so good because it was in the script. So what they start doing, they go inside the tower, the real big tall tower. They go inside the tower, they run up, they're killing zombies on the way up. All the T-800 chases them around, and then while Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock runs ahead of them, they went and got these little metal shields where they basically had all these shields like a soul train line. And Tallahassee runs through that line, like it's at the top of the tower. He runs through that line, runs for dear life, had the T-800 chasing him, and then he jumps off the ledge of the tower and grabs onto this grappling hook, and all the T-800s fall below to their second deaths, so to speak, because zombies are already dead, blah blah blah. And 2 more came through, grabbed on the Tallahassee. Now, here's what I never understand. When people are hanging on by a thread, like from a cliff or from something like that, like a grappling hook, he had the weight of 2 bodies on his feet. How do these people always manage to hang on? But early in the movie, as a Christmas present, which it really wasn't Christmas because they had a little Christmas celebration in the White House. Because, I guess they all, look, how cool it would be to do Christmas in the White House. But Tallahassee ended up giving what's her name, Little Rock a gun. I think the gun belonged to Elvis, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Elvis the King, which Tallahassee was a very big fan of.
Yeah, and that's how Nevada and Tallahassee ended up doing it because of their love of Elvis. But What happened was the zombie that was hanging on Tallahassee almost fell. Little Rock pulls out the gun, puts one in the zombie's head. Let's go to Tallahassee. And then they pull Tallahassee in. Then a Homer comes through straggling. Didn't come after anybody, just ran. It fell off the thing. The Homers are like lemmings. Lemmings like the idiots of the animal kingdom. Just a Homer. I think the Homer reference was in reference to Homer Simpson, because when they spelled out Homer, the O was spelled like it had like a glazed donut as an O. So that is a direct call to Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all it was.
Yes. Also, as far as this film, I like the little call to The Walking Dead. Columbus was like in the beginning when they was in Lincoln's bedroom right before he gave her the Hope Diamond to marry her with. He was reading a Walking Dead comic. He said this comic is terrifying, but it's totally unrealistic. I was like, yeah, I think zombie fiction would be. I think if they read any kind of zombie fiction in any of these films, they're supposed to say something like how unrealistic it was, but it was a joke. But I do like a call to one of the most successful zombie franchises out there, The Walking Dead. So that was pretty cool that they was able to do that. But like I said, as far as like zombie franchises, like there's this movie called Idle Hands. You remember Idle Hands?
Yeah, but I never actually saw Idle Hands. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I was just gonna say Zombieland is better than Idle Hands. In fact, Zombieland to me, both movies, Zombieland and Zombieland 2, they are both fresh takes on the zombie lore. Because in this zombie lore, is like the zombies are runners. Number one, how do you run from something that never runs out of breath? So it was interesting. They had to learn and evolve their techniques to survive in that world. They had to adapt, which was great. And yes, Tallahassee does use the quote "nut up" or "shut up" in this movie a few times. I think Wichita was the one that said, "You got to get you a new quote." So double tap is a call to one of the rules that Columbus made about killing zombies. And in this movie, he had like nothing but rules. It was funny how when they was trading the rules versus commandment scene, how they kept trading commandments and stuff. Like it was the movie was fun to watch. It's a fun zombie movie. It's not too much tragedy, but it has the right amount of tragedy, the right amount of violence. It still lets you know that you're in a zombie apocalypse. I'll tell you. Okay, one funny scene is when Nevada, Rosario Dawson's character almost killed. Did she almost kill Tallahassee? Or did she almost kill? I think she almost killed Tallahassee, and she was like, "I almost married you." And Columbus was like, "What is that, Marion? When you kill somebody, they think that you think is a zombie, but they're not." She was like, "I can't wait to catch up who killed Bill Murray." And then Columbus just was looking at it like, "Ooh."
That wasn't me.
Yeah, because spoiler warning for the first film. They ran into Bill Murray. Like I think it was at his mansion, and Bill Murray tried to run up on Columbus playing a prank, acting like he was a zombie. So when he got up on Columbus, he scared Columbus so bad, Columbus shot him.
It wasn't the best prank. Well, I guess it was good, but not a smart one to do.
Yeah, and I guess the one thing that I will say that I really wish I could have seen what would have happened if Nevada found out Columbus had killed Bill Murray. That shit would have been so funny. Go ahead.
Part 3, you never know. Part 3.
I mean, if they just and then from the way this movie did and how good and how funny it was, I do believe there's going to be a part 3 of Zombieland. I do believe it. Yeah, so all right. Okay, Zombieland, double tap. movie was rated R, and the R is for language and scenes of violence.
But I don't
And
think there's any way you can go to this movie and not enjoy it because it was very
yeah,
heavily written. The comedy was definitely on point. The you know, the few characters that they brought, um, it all made perfect sense. It was just a good job all around.
yeah, it was a great sequel to Zombieland. I'll put it like that. It was a great direct sequel. Um, if I could compare the two, if I could pick out which one was better, I would probably say that both of them were probably had the both of them had his own good stuff with them. So I would probably say both of them were equal. I mean, maybe a little bit more to Zombieland Double Tap because it was a sequel.
It was a great sequel.
But yeah, it was a good sequel. It definitely had more characters, more survivors of the zombie apocalypse. Um, yeah, I thought Nevada was a great character. I thought Albuquerque and Flagstaff were hilarious. Columbus, Tallahassee, their dynamic was hilarious as well. Um, Little Rock and Wichita, they were Little Rock and Wichita. They stayed true to their characters. Yeah, and the zombie kills. The zombie kills were great.
Yes, and the just to even add the zombie killer of the year, that was just took it. That was just an awesome. I mean, 'cause what would you think about if you lived in that type of world? So it made sense, but it definitely brought it home to how people would probably operate living under that kind of stress.
The zombie kills. Now, as far as now, I said the zombie kills were great. The zombie kills to me, they weren't unique enough. And, like except for the zombie kills of the year
What? No,
and the little
that's what I was
zombie
referring to. The kill of the
and the
year.
zombie and the zombie run at the end of the film and the zombie run at the end of the film. Um, I don't think there was too much more creativity in how they kill zombies. Like, okay, I mentioned The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead, what The Walking Dead does is they find creative and new ways to kill zombies, and they do zombies all kind of different ways. The zombies in Zombieland were kind of cookie cutter. I mean, they had the different types of zombies, but when you look at them, you probably can tell one from the other unless they perform the actions that's described by Columbus, like the Homer, the Ninja, and the T-800. Otherwise, you couldn't really tell, from zombie to zombie. The zombies were pretty cookie cutter, but they were zombies nonetheless. So it wasn't like it was something like The Walking Dead where they focus on, okay, how can we do like a scene where it'll look cool and the zombie how many different ways we can kill zombies, put it like that. Zombieland kind of does that, but it does not. It's a 2-hour film. It's not an episodic television show. So
Exactly. But I don't see how you couldn't enjoy this film. Even the young lady who was playing the stereotypical dumb blonde, even she was actually pretty good. You know,
yeah, 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 great character.
They killed her, but then brought her back. You know,
When you discover they didn't really kill her.
to the audience, she was dead, but they brought her back because she was still alive. There was the audience alive, so she was.
Mhm.
It was a good hard choice that you would have to make if you lived in that type of environment. I thought they did it. They did a great service and all of that.
Mm. Well, all right. Anything else, Roger?
No, that pretty much sums it up pretty good if you ask me. But
Mhm.
I go with You Buy It. Definitely was a good film. Just but definitely a good film.
Yes, and buy it as in, I'm gonna say buy it as in buy a ticket to and enjoy the film. and if you and it's and if you love zombie films, this definitely is a zombie film for you. I would say that what was that? Was that? I'm trying to think of that film by Simon Pegg, that zombie film by Simon Pegg. Like I could compare it to that. Like let me look it up real quick because I want to say the I want to say what the movie's name is.
Okay, well, if you know him by direction, he's pretty good. I know most of my
Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead.
That was
definitely
a good one too. That was definitely a good one.
Yeah. It's like Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, the George A. Romero series, which is always going to be classic. Yeah, but I mean, like the Shaun of the Dead zombies, they were swarmers. They moved slow, but they swarmed you. Once they swarmed you and on you, that was it. The George A. Romero zombies, they were sprinters. The zombies in 28 Days Later, they were sprinters as well. I mean, I don't know if you ever seen that.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw Shaun of the Dead. Definitely a good film, and definitely made some unique twists with that because you got your different classifications, and you were really kind of able to see how the zombies would operate, and it only made sense at the end of the movie. You were gonna have to deal with a whole lot of T-800s. So I'm not gonna say they made it where you could see it coming, but if you thought about it, it does make T-800 at some point while you're dealing with these crazy folks that's getting rid of all your weapons. It just that was just a nice touch. And I thought for a minute they may not make it out of there. They may not make it out. I thought it maybe at least I thought the sacrificial lamb take a bite. They'd have to kill him off and that'd be that. So I'm actually kind of glad they all made it through.
Yeah, but do you think there'll be a Zombieland 3?
I think there's enough there to justify it. There's enough there to justify Zombieland 3. I mean, we still got to see what the numbers do because everything's about money at the end of the day. But with the I would enjoy seeing a Zombieland 3.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. So that decides it. We'll probably see Zombieland 3. They probably won't wait 10 years to do it this time.
Hopefully not.
They probably won't. Well, all right. If there's not anything else, I think we're gonna go ahead and cut this one off for the day. This is Kev. And with me is Roger and Donnie, who is also here in spirit. We are the Black Dimension. And if you haven't already and need to do so, please hit that subscribe button, and we will bring you entertainment news like no one else. All right, peace out.